नहमदुहु नुसल्ली अला रसूलिहिल करीम अम्मा बाद फ़ौज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी व यस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली रब्बि ज़िदनी इल्मा 246 ayah of Surah Al-Baqarah. We will continue the tafsir. We are doing juz number 2. Alam tara ilal mala'i min bani Israel. Have you not considered the assembly of the children of Israel? After the time of Musa al-Islam, when they said to a prophet of theirs, send to us a king, and we will fight in the way of Allah. He said, would you perhaps refrain from fighting if fighting was prescribed for you? So let's see this ayah number 246. Alam did not, tara, you see, ilal mala'i, towards the chiefs, mala. Mim Bani Israel, the children of Israel, Mim Badi, after from Musa al-Islam, is qalu, when they said, Linabiyin, to a prophet, Lahum, of this, Ib'as, appoint, Lana, for us, Malikan, a king. Nuqatil, we may fight, Fi Sabilillah, in the way of Allah. Qala, he said, Hal, would asaytum, you perhaps, in if kutiba, prescribed alaykum, upon you, qitalu, fighting, Allah, that not tuqatilu, you fight, qalu, they said, wama, and what, lana, for us, Allah, that not nuqatila, we fight, fi sabilillah, in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Waqad, while surely ukhrijna, we have been driven, min, from diyarina, our homes, wa abna'ina, and our children, falamma, yet when kutiba was prescribed, alayhimul qitalu, upon them the fighting, tawallu, they turned away, illa, except qalilam minhum, few, except the few, they turned away, minhum, among them, wallahu, and Allah, alimun, all knowing, bizzalimin, of the wrongdoers. So here it is said, have you not considered the assembly of children of Israel? After the time of Musa al-Islam, when they said to the prophet of theirs, send to us a king, and we will fight in the way of Allah, he said, would you perhaps refrain from fighting if fighting was prescribed for you? So they said, why should we not fight in the cause of Allah when we have been driven out from our homes and from our children? But when fighting was prescribed for them, they turn away, except for a few of them, and Allah is knowing of the wrongdoers. So let's see the details of this. So here it is mentioned in the ayah number 246. So we are looking this ayah, when they have prescribed for the fighting, what they said, they would go and fight. But actually when they have to do it, what they have done. So like when the hukum was there, did they fight or did they not fight it? So here talking about in this ayah, like how Bani Israel behavior was. So alam tara ilal mala'i min Bani Israel min badi Musa. So here talking about how the Bani Israel's behavior was, and they they were tested here, what they will do, like whether they go in the way of Allah or they would stop themselves. So here it is mentioned that when they were asked to go in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what was their behavior? And here when you see that, like Bani Israel, alam tara ilal mala'i min Bani Israel min badi Musa iza, and when turja'un, they will return. Eventually they have to leave wealth, and it will not stay with them for forever, that wealth, right? And here let's see the meaning of all the words. Al-Mala'i here means chiefs. Mim lam hamza. Mil is from the same root and is used for the fill of something. So here, when it is talking about ayah number 246, we learn that about 300 years after the death of Musa al-Islam, Bani Israel suffered great decline. So much so that their enemy destroyed them and confiscated their lands, killed their people. So they realized that they needed to do something collectively. They needed to get together and fight back and regain their freedom. So what happened? They went to their prophet and they said, please appoint a leader for us so that we can acquire this goal. We can regain control of our lives. So what happened? The prophet said to them, are you just saying that? Or are you really going to do it? They said, why should we not fight in the cause of Allah when we have been driven out from our homes and from our children? But Allah says, when the fighting was actually prescribed to them, they turned away except for the few. And Allah knowing the wrongdoers yani they turn away when the actual hukum was there. So here, when talking about mala is used for a mil is used from the same root and it is used for the fill of something. And mala, mim, lam, hamza is used for a group of leaders or chiefs, high class, elite people. These people don't go alone somewhere. They are accompanied by people of the same rank. They go in large numbers. When they fill up a place, they fill the people's heart with awe. Without them, places are empty. It's a singular word that gives a plural meaning. So have you not considered the chiefs of the children of Israel after Musa? We are not told who the prophet was or why the Bani Israel want to fight in the way of Allah. The important thing to get from this ayah is to come out with the lesson. It is said that Bani Israel were upon the truth, upon the Tawheed, oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After the time of Musa al-Islam, after a while they went astray, deviated, started to worship idols. As a result, Allah caused the enemy to overpower them. The enemies took over a large portion of their land. Before, when the Bani Israel were on the true deen, no one would be able to beat them. They kept indulging in misguidance. When a king among the Amalekites, a nomadic nation living south of Palestine, took the tabut from them during a battle, Bani Israel faced the Amalekites in the battle. Tabut is a box that will be mentioned. He also took the Torah and killed most of those who know the Torah. Only few had memorized the Torah that remained. So prophethood thus halted, pause among the Israelites, except for one woman who was pregnant from the family of Levi, on whom the prophethood still existed. She prayed that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give her a boy. Israelites kept her in a house hoping for a boy so that they would have a prophet. She had a boy and named him Shamun or Shamin or Shamwil, which means Allah had heard my pleas. In English, this name is Samuel. He grew to be a very righteous person. When he reached the age of prophethood, Allah commanded him to call the people to oneness of Allah. Revelation was also sent to him. He called the children of Israel to Allah. They asked him to appoint a king over them so that they could fight their enemies under his command. The kingship had also ended. The prophet asked them, what if Allah appointed a king over you? Will you fulfill your vow to fight under his command? This is mentioned in these verses. The situation of Muslims in Medina was very similar to Bani Israel at that time. So Muslims are being, through this ayahs, told to pay attention, take a heed, lesson from this. When they migrated to Medina, the battle of Badr took place. They had to defend themselves against the enemy. So reflect upon the chiefs of Bani Israel when they ask Prophet. Muslims are being encouraged to fight their enemy through these ayahs. Through narration, it is said that this prophet that is being referred to is Samuel in Medina. The Muslims were urged to fight. قالوا لنبي لهم ابعث لنا ملكا نقاتل في سبيل الله قال هل عصيتم. Ib'as is from Ba Ain Sa. Batha literally means to raise. It is also used for appointing someone and giving them some responsibility. When one is appointed, they are raised in the status. Here it means you raise. Malikan Mim Lam Kaf. Mulk means kingdom, sovereignty. Here, Malakan is king or leader. They asked that a king be appointed so that they could fight in the way of Allah. It shows us how important it is to have a leader when fighting. When the Muslims migrated to Medina, they were commanded to fight as they had leader and had strength. Hal means this is question. It is istifam. Asaitum, ain sin ya. When it is followed by tum, it gives the meaning of it might be on your part. It might be possible. So would it be possible on your part? When fighting is actually prescribed, they may say that they do not want to fight anymore. And here it is mentioned, in kutiba alaykumul qitalu alla tuqatilu qalu wama lana alla nuqatila fi. Allah is an plus la. Qalu, they, the chief said. So why should we not fight in the way of Allah? Ukhrijna is from khara jim wa abna'ina, plural of ibn. Here it means our children. They are saying that they are deprived of their land and their children. Said, why wouldn't we fight in the way of Allah after we have been driven from our homes and from our children, after our land and children have been taken away from us? So if the houses are plundered and one's fight for the sake of Allah, means it is permissible. However, if one fights for the sake of gaining land, this is not fighting in the way of Allah. So when the fighting was made obligatory upon them, so what they did? Tawallaw, they physically turned away. Bizalimina, plural of zalim, or one who does zulm, to place something which it does not belong, zulm is, or to leave that which is necessary, or tarkul wajib, leaving one's duty. If one leaves their duty, other suffers. That is what is meant here. They came to Prophet with much zeal to fight, but when it was commanded for them, only a few followed the commandments. Most of them turn away. Such people who request an obligation and then when commanded and does not do it, he is a zalim. Sometimes we make a vow that if Allah gives us such and such, I will do this. If I get this thing, I will do that. But actually don't do it. That's a kind of a zulm. It's not recommended to make vows, but if you do, you have to fulfill it. But it should be in the circle of obedience of Allah, not against the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What lessons we learn here? We are encouraged to reflect upon ayahs of Allah. Take a lesson from them. We apply that lessons to our lives. We learn the virtues of a prophet. And the people ask Prophet to appoint a king. A leader is very important to make sure there is discipline and order. Prophet does not have to be the leader in a war. That's what we learned from this ayah. Positions are based on merit. The prophets are very wise. When they asked Prophet, he had wisdom to know what their response would be if such command of fighting was put forth. We should never ask for difficulties or trials. If we are put in a difficulty, we should have sabr, patience. Arrogance, boasting is not liked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They made great claims that they can fight, but fighting was ordained. They turned away. Lahum, to the people who were asking for a king, or to the Bani Israel. So, Inna Allah qad ba'asa lakum ta'aluta malikan. So, the following ayah, here it is mentioned, Waqala, and said Lahum, to them, Nabiyuhum, their prophet, Inna Allah, indeed Allah, qad, surely, ba'sa, raised, lakum, for you, Talut, Malikan means king. Qalu, they said, Anna, how? Yakunu, can be, lahum, for him, al mulku, the kingship, alayna, over us, wa nahnu, while we, ahaqu, are more, bil mulki, to the kingship, minhu, than him, walam, and not, yuta, it has been given, sa'atan, abundance, minal mali, of wealth. Qala, he said, Inna Allah, indeed Allah, istafahu, he has chosen him, alaykum, over you, wazadahu, and increased them, bastatan, abundantly, fil ilmi, in the knowledge, wal jismi, the physique, wallahu, and Allah, yuti, gives, mulkahu, his kingdom, man yasha, and he wills. Wallahu wasiun alim, and Allah, wasiun is all encompassing, alim, all knowing. And their prophet said to them, indeed Allah has sent to you as a soul, as a king. They said, how can he have kingship over us while we are more worthy of kingship than him? And he has not been given any measure of wealth. He said, indeed Allah has chosen him over you and has increased him abundantly in knowledge and the status. And Allah gives his sovereignty to whom he wills, and Allah is all encompassing in favor and knowing. So let's see the detail for this ayah. So in this ayah, here talking about Talut. Prophet ﷺ told them that Talut would be their king. Talut is from tul, or height. It is said that he was exceptionally tall, and they would come up to his soldiers. Anni, used in different ways, sometimes used for place, or kafia, or howness. Here, how come is it possible? So here talking about how come he has the kingship over us while we are more worthy of kingship than him. They made this objection because they wanted a king. But Talut didn't have much wealth or status in society. It is said that in beginning of Surah Baqarah, Bani Israel were divided into 12 tribes. All of the prophets were from the tribe of Banu Levi or Levi. Musa al-Islam's another tribe was Banu Yahud, who was the eldest son of Yaqub al-Islam, from where all the leaders came from, the tribe of monarchs. The tribe of Ban Yamin, and Talut was not from Ban Lo'i or Banu Yahud, but he was from the tribe of Banu Yamin, the youngest son of Yaqub al-Islam and the youngest brother of Yusuf al-Islam. The other tribes didn't respect him because he was from his tribe, which was considered to be of the lower status. That is why people said that they were more worthy of kingship than Talut. In Islam, authority is not based on status. It is based on the qualities and the merits of the individual. There is no concept of monarchy in Islam. And the second objection was that he wasn't given any wealth. Ahaqu, ha, qaf, qaf, haq is truth. Here it means to have more right. Sa'atan, wow, seen, ain, from wussa, ample, plenty, spaciousness. Al-mali, Talut was not very well off. Some says that his profession was dyeing skins, and any coloring the skins. Instead of Bani Israel respecting the messenger, They objected, would not be accepted Talut as a king. And istafahu, swad fa waw. Safa is to be clear. Istifa is to choose someone on the basis of their purity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose him because of his purity. Purity in words, honesty, sincerity in their relationship, or because he is the best among you. Wazadahu is from ziyada, zai, ya, dal. He has increased ziyada. Bastatan, basin to, in abundance, in knowledge and body here. Yapsudu is to expand or stretch out. Bastatan gives the meaning of extent. So he has increased the extent of his knowledge and body. In other words, he has given him a lot of knowledge and the body, physically, one who is strong. While jism is from jim, seen, mean body. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that Talut has been blessed with the knowledge as well as a physical strength. And Yasha, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives his kingdom to whom he wills. It is his decision to appoint him a king, not the prophet. Even if they don't understand the wisdom behind him being appointed king, they should just obey and follow. A leader should have knowledge and physical strength to be in charge. So, what we learn here, let's see. Ayah number 247. وَقَالَ لَهُمْ نَبِيُّهُمْ, and their prophet said to them, indeed Allah has sent to you Talut as a king. They asked that king should be appointed. The prophet said, Allah has appointed the king. He is Talut. They said, how can he have kingship over us while we were more worthy of kingship than him? Because he has not been given any measure of wealth. We are richer than him. He is poor. That's what it means. That they meant to say that. So prophet said, indeed Allah has chosen him over you and has increased him abundantly in knowledge and status. And meaning he has physical strength and he has more ilm. So what do we see over here? They asked for a king. King was appointed. What did they do? They made an excuse. Why? Because they were seeking personal glory. They were not seeking the glory of religion. If the glory of religion was the goal, then any king that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided, that Allah appointed, would be acceptable to them. When king was not acceptable to them, what was the problem here? They thought they would be appointed as a king. They thought of using this opportunity as a cause, as a reason for their personal glory, for their personal fame. So this is why they presented excuses over here. And the prophet explained to them that, look, Allah chose him. Why? Because of his ilm. Because ilm, knowledge is better than money. He had ilm, so Allah has chosen him. We think money, but knowledge, ilm, nobody can take it, right? Money, can anyone take it? But ilm, knowledge, because when we chase knowledge, money will also come. Dunya will also come. Allah will give you what decreed for you. Especially knowledge of the deen. And Allah gives the sovereignty to whom He wills. And Allah is all encompassing in favor. He is knowing. He knows His servants who should be chosen. So here what we see, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells, and their prophet said to them, indeed Allah has appointed Talut, Saul, as a king over you. When the Israelites asked the prophet to appoint a king over them, he appointed Talut, who was then a soldier, but Talut was not descendant of the house of the kings among them, which was exclusively in the offsprings of Yahud. That is why they are saying, قَالُوا أَنِّي يَكُونُ لَهُ مُلْكُ عَلَيْنَا. They said, how can he be a king over us? Meaning, how can he be a king for us? وَنَحْنُ أَحَقُّ بِالْمُلْكِ مِنْهُ وَلَمْ يُؤْتَ سَاعَةً مِنَ الْمَالِ. We are fitter. than him for the kingdom, and he has not been given enough wealth. They said Talut was very poor and did not have the wealth and justifies him being king. Some people stated that Talut used to bring water to the people, while others stated that his profession was coloring the skin, uh, dyeing the skins. The Jews thus disputed with their prophet while they were supposed to obey him and to say good words to him. Qala inna Allah istafahu alaykum. He, their prophet, said, verily Allah has chosen him above you, meaning Allah chose Talut from among you while having better knowledge about him. Their prophet stated, I did not choose Talut to be your king on my own. Rather, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded upon your request. Further, وَزَادَهُ بَسْطَةً فِي الْإِلْمِ وَالْجِسْمِ, and has increased him abundantly in knowledge and stature. Meaning Talut is more knowledgeable, honorable than you, and stronger and more patient during combat, and has more knowledge of warfare. In short, he has more knowledge and is stronger than you. The king should have sufficient knowledge, be fair looking, and should have a strong soul and body. He then said, Wallahu yuti mulkuhu mayasha, and Allah grants his kingdom to whom he wills. Meaning Allah alone is the supreme authority who does what he wills. No one asks him about his action, while they will be asked about their actions by him. This is because Allah has perfect knowledge, wisdom, and kindness with his creation. Allah said, Wallahu wasi'un alim, and Allah is sufficient for his creatures' needs. All knower, meaning his favor is encompassing. He grants his mercy to whom he wills. He also knows those who deserve to be king and those who do not deserve to be king. So now in the following ayah, they are being mentioned with regarding to the tabut. وَقَالَ, and said lahum, to them, nabiyuhum, their prophet, inna, indeed, ayata, a sign, mulkihi, his kingdom, and that yatiyakumut tabutu, will come to you, tabut, the ark, fihi, in it, sakinatun, a tranquility, min rabbikum, from your Lord, wa baqiyatun, a remnant, mimma, of what, taraka, left, alu Musa, family of Musa, wa alu Harun, and the family of Harun, tahmiluhul malaika, will carry it the angels. Inna, indeed, fi zalika, that in, al ayati, surely a sign, lakum, for you, in kuntum mu'minin, if you are believer. And the prophet said to them, indeed, a sign of his kingship is that the chest will come to you, in which is assurance from your Lord, and a remnant of what the family of Musa and the family of Aaron had left, Harun, carried by the angels. Indeed, in that is a sign for you, if you are believers. فَلَمَّا فَصَلَ طَالُوتُ بِالْجُنُودِ قَالَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ مُبْتَلِيكُمْ بِنَهْرٍ فَمَنْ شَرِبَ مِنْهُ فَلَيْسَ مِنِّي وَمَنْ لَمْ يَطْعَمْهُ فَإِنَّهُ مِنِّي إِلَّا مَنِ اغْتَرَفَ غُرْفَةً بِيَدِهِ فَشَرِبُوا مِنْهُ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا مِنْهُمْ فَلَمَّا جَاوَزَهُ هُوَ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مَعَهُ قَالُوا لَا طَاقَةَ لَنَا الْيَوْمَ بِجَالُوتَ وَجُنُودِهِ قَالَ الَّذِينَ يَظُنُّونَ أَنَّهُمْ مُلَاقُو اللَّهِ كَمْ مِنْ فِيَةٍ قَلِيلَةٍ غَلَبَتْ فِيَةٍ كَثِيرَةٍ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. And when Saul went forth with the soldiers, he said, indeed, Allah will be testing you with a river. So whoever drinks from it, not of me, and whoever does not taste it, it is indeed of me, excepting one who takes from it handful of it. But when they drank from it, except few of them, when he had crossed it, along with those who believed with him, they said, there is no power for us today against Goliath and his soldiers. But those who were certain that they would meet Allah, how many a small company has overcome a large by the permission of Allah, and Allah is with the patient. So here we see how the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested them. So here, mulkihi, what is the sign that he has been chosen? A tabut will appear to you. They want to see a sign. Tabutu, ta wow ba. Tauba literally means to return, to repent. If one has a box of goodies, they return to it over and over. Here it refers to the box chest, which holds important things. It can also be used for a coffin. The Bani Israel would take a chest tabut with them when they would go to the battle. They would take that box with them. Where did the tabut go? There are two opinions. First, when the Amalekites attacked the Bani Israel, they took the tabut away from them. The tabut was lost from the Bani Israel, left in the plain of Sinai. When the Bani Israel were there for 40 years, a sign of his kingship is that the tabut will be brought to you, and then you will know that he has been appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sakinatun, Seen Kaf Noon. In the box there is a sakina, tranquility. Sakana is to be still. Sakina is used for the peacefulness, sukoon, tranquility, calmness, peace of mind. So different interpretation. Peace and contentment when Talut is king, that he is appointed as a king. It is the right decision. The second thing, the objects in the box that were source of comfort for them. When they looked at them, some special help that would come to them by the means of this box. Baqiyatun is from ba, qaf, ya. Baqiya means that which remains behind, remnants. Baqa means to remain. And Musa, it is said that Musa al-Islam's sandals were in the box. Some says that it contained the turban of Harun al-Islam, the staff and the sandals of Musa. Allah knows best. Malaika, the angels carried the tabut. The two meanings, it was made to reappear a sign of truthfulness of kingship of Talut. The second thing, the king who was appointed over them, they would be successful and victorious. As a result, the angels will be bringing a tabut back to them. We learn that the angels are obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Ibn Abbas said the angels came down while carrying the tabut between the sky and the earth, place it on the earth while the people were watching. Sayyidi Mufassirin said that the tabut was brought down to Talut's house, and thus people believed in the prophethood of Samuel and the kingship of Talut. So here meaning when the tabut came down, the people believed in the Talut and the Samuel. So fasala, fa swadlam, he went forth. Fasala means to cut something. Fisalan means weaning. When a child is being taken off feeding, breastfeeding. So here it means he separated or he set out. There's the word came from. Bil junudi is from jim noon dal, plural of jund, which is used for army. It is said that there were approximately 70,000 soldiers. And mubtalikum is from ba lam ba, one who tests, trials you. Bala is a trial in which there is a difficulty. Bala yablu. Whenever a person goes out in the way of Allah, he'll be tested. Talut is warning them that they will be tested with the river. Sometimes we don't recognize the test in our lives, but here the soldiers are being prepared for the test. Bi nahrin, with the stream of river. Shariba, sheen raba, he drank. Talut said, you'll be tested with the river. Whoever drinks from it, it's not from me. He is not with me or of my followers. He will not be able to continue on with him. Here, an army is going forward on an expedition and they were hungry and thirsty. Yet amhu, ta ain mim. Tamam is used, tam is used for food and for water. Here it means he tasted. And whoever doesn't taste it of me, he is with me, will accompany. And ightaraf, ghain, rafa, ghurf is to scoop out. Ghurfatam, a handful. Biyadihi, with his hand, except for the one who takes one scoopful or handful, just enough to satisfy their thirst. And some of them, they drank from the river and failed the test, except for a few of them. The purest were left, means they drank so much. And jawazahu, jim waza, jawaza means to cross or pass over. He crossed it. Talut with his army who passed the test crossed over the river. It is said there were only approximately 300 people. طاقة, power, wow, qaf, and ability, strength, power. Al-yawma, today, literally means the day. Also used for today. Jalut, the leader of the opposing army. They said they have no power the day against Jalut and his army. But Junudihi and his army, they were exhausted and tired. The life of the believers is full of tests and trials. When he is in good times, he remembers Allah and is grateful to Allah when he is tested, and his patient sabr does not complain when he is tested. So they had a slight fear, apprehension in their heart approaching the enemy. Yazunnuna, dhanunun, they have conviction, certainty. When followed by anna, it means to be certain. Mulaqu, lam, qaf, ya, plural of mulaqin, one who does liqa, one who meets. Kam means how many. Kam means how. Sometimes it is used to ask a question regarding how many, and sometimes it is used to express a large number. Over here it gives the meaning of large number. And fiyatin, fa ya hamza. Fiya means to return. Fiya refers to a group of people because they return to each other. How many group of people? 100,000 of people. Qalilatin, a few. Ghalabat, ghain, lamba. Ghalba, to gain victory or to dominate. Fiyatan, a group. Kasiratam, many. Those who had a firm conviction in their heart that they would meet their Lord said, oh, so many incidents exist in history where a small group overtook a large group. So the primary recipient of this ayah is for the Sahaba and then of course for us. As-sabirin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with those who are doing sabr. So the situation of the Muslims in Medina at Badr is similar to the situation of those mentioned in this ayah. Many times in history, smaller group of people have overcome the larger group of people with the permission of Allah. So what we learn from these lessons, whenever we plan to do something, we may get disheartened, feeling overwhelmed. But if we have full yaqeen on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, know that He will help us, we should not be disheartened. The reason for success, Allah's permission, patience. The purpose of this test to sort out the truthful believers from those who are not truthful and have patience. And Allah only gives success. Barazu, baraza, they came to view, they came for to face. Buruz is to come view. Baraz is used for open. So it's open, obviously. Jaluta, the army of Talut faced Jalut and his armies. Qalu, the believers said when they saw the army in front of them, Afriq, faraghain. Faraga means to be empty or to pour out something. Afriq means to pour down a lot. Means it's the container is upside down. That's how the faraga. Sabran, pour down on us, sabr, patience. Our Lord pour down on us patience. Wasabbit, and sabata. Sabbata is firmness. So here it means to make firm. So we'll do the review and then rest of the lesson we're going to do in upcoming class. So here what we learn here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about waqala nabiyyuhum, and the prophet said to them, indeed a sign of kingship is that the chest will come to you, in which is assurance from your Lord and a remnant of what the family of Musa al-Islam and the family of Harun had left, carried by the angels. Indeed, in that is a sign for believers. Basically, we learned that the enemy, they had taken away Bani Israel, their precious valuable belongings, including chest in which the man and salwa, the staff of Musa al-Islam, some other memorables. So what happened? The prophet said to them, if you go with Talut, what is going to happen? You will get the chest back. You will be made victorious. So what happened? Number 249, this will be, they were asked to drink the water, only few sips, not all of them. So when Talut went forth with the soldier, he said to them, indeed, Allah will test you with a river. So whoever drinks from it, not from me. Whoever does not taste it, it's indeed of me. Except the one who takes from the handful, hollow of his hand. Meaning, he's preparing them for a test because he who goes out in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he definitely will be tested. Then Allah tests him, is my servant capable of this work or not? So here initially so many people get ready for doing the good work. Here also same thing. When king was appointed, many people turned away. And then eventually when king left, what happened over here? The people were told, look, you are going to be tested. Don't drink water from that river. If you must drink, only drink handful of water. But what happened? Allah says they drank from it, except a very few of them. They can drink, but only few sips. But they drank full tummy because they were not patient. Very few people were patient. What do we learn from this? That the person who cannot observe patience, sabr, in the matter of food and drink, then he cannot bear hardship. If he cannot bear hardship, then how can he work for the cause of Allah? For example, for any good work, you have to have the sabr. Whether you are fasting, whether you are doing Quran course, whether you are doing any kind of good work, you should have the patience and the consistency. So person who cannot observe patience in the matter of food and drink, in the matter of the bodily pleasure, then he cannot bear hardship. And if he cannot bear hardship, then he cannot work for the cause of Allah. So we need to see, if we have to sit for hours to for anything good, we have to have the sabr. So then he had crossed it, the Talut crossed the river along with those who believe with him and said, there is no power for us. La taqata lana al-yawm. They said, we don't have any strength today against Jalut and his soldiers. But those who were certain that they would meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they said, how many a small company has overcome a large company by the permission of Allah, and Allah is with the patient. So just like in Ramzan, what happens? When we eat so much, what do we say? I don't have the strength to do the Taraweeh. I can't do more Tahajjud. I can't read more juz. So when you drink less water or when you have less food, you can do more, right? So we have to do more. We have to